Following my recent successful experiment with burn-through cracks, I decided to push the boundaries even further. Today, we are dealing with a cracked cherry root that I once intended to throw away. I just never got around to it. Today is its moment to shine. I once had thoughts of turning it into a large vessel with the cracks filled with epoxy, but honestly, I was hesitant to spend the money on resin, especially since the result was far from guaranteed. Moreover, I didn't have a pressure pot for resin casting, and without one, it's impossible to eliminate air bubbles. So it just sat there. It was too good to toss, but until today, I had no clear plan for it. I usually thoroughly wash and dry all the roots I receive. This one was no exception. It was washed under a high-pressure water stream and has had a full 2 years to dry out completely. Despite this, the internal cavities of the root were still packed with dirt that the pressure washer couldn't reach. Not only did I have to constantly pick it out with a screwdriver, but I also had to keep returning to the grinder to resharpen my blades. It's also worth noting that turning a dry root is a real ordeal. The wood is incredibly dense and very difficult to cut. After drilling a hole with a 3-inch Forstner bit, I began hollowing out the interior of the root. I've worked with many roots in my practice, or rather, taproots. They have an incredibly beautiful texture and grain pattern. However, there is one specific challenge: cavities. When you are hollowing a root, these cavities can cause irreparable damage to the entire structure at the worst possible moment. If the intertwined root chains that form these cavities fall out during the hollowing process, the root can split in half right while you're working. Even if you're lucky and nothing flies at you, it can be catastrophic for the taproot as a whole. To avoid damaging the delicate interweaving and to minimize risk, I will only hollow out about 1/4 of the potential volume today. I'll focus mainly on the center, deepening the sides only slightly, while ensuring the hollowing tool doesn't start to deform those webs and voids. It's crucial to work slowly and carefully to avoid any nasty surprises. I believe it's better to leave it slightly under hollowed than to ruin hours of hard work. Since the root is heavy and full of cavities, its rotation is quite unbalanced. At this stage, I'll use a negative rake scraper to smooth things out before starting the burning process. Afterward, I'll begin sanding and removing the excess charred wood. cavities and small roots are holding steady and haven't fallen out. There's one small hole here, which I hope won't cause any trouble. Instead, it should only enhance the final result. Despite some remaining traces of dirt, I'm starting the burning process. Let's see how it goes. I am very thoroughly charring all the cracks and cavities. Thankfully, there are many of them. I don't want to burn the interior though. I want the natural color of the wood inside to provide a sense of depth and volume. If we char everything on the inside, we won't be able to distinguish the interior from the burnt cavities, and I want to avoid that. I need that visual volume. I'll only burn the rim and should beautifully emphasize the transition between the inner and outer parts. This piece demonstrates that the more cracks and voids we have, the more beautiful the final appearance becomes. To finish the sanding process quickly while maintaining maximum quality, I'll start with 40 grit and work my way up to 240 grit. Cherry wood is naturally dominated by red tones. To highlight them even further, I'll be using linseed oil here. Unlike lighter walnut oil, it will make the wood appear even redder. I'm applying the oil carefully, making sure it doesn't get into the cavities. After the charring process, they have a matte finish, and I want to preserve that. The red, yellow, brown wood, polished to a fine sheen, will contrast beautifully with the matte, coal black hollows and cracks. I'm still under the impression of that last charred oak bowl, but honestly, this result has made me even happier. What I was too stingy to throw away has, with minimal expense, turned into something truly stunning. The matte finish of the charred wood contrasts beautifully with the polished amber red grain of the root. The interior space, which was only partially hollowed and left unsanded, not quite brought to perfection, doesn't spoil the picture at all. It's simply invisible against the backdrop of the beauty revealed by this miracle. Let's see what you have to say about this one. I'm confident you'll be happy with the outcome. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this video, and don't forget to subscribe. It really means a lot to me.